Heizi changed clothes in the RV. I turned around, but peeked in the mirror. Then she hurriedly searched for a chance to slip out of the RV, thinking, this is so not my embarrassing moment. Annie thought this was just an accidental hiccup. Little did she know fate had other plans. At the fan meetup, they crossed paths again, and Heizi's eyes locked onto her like a spotlight. Annie felt like a deer caught in headlights. She tried to keep her cool, but inside, it was a tsunami of emotions. When her daughter and friends asked for autographs, she couldn't help but gather intel. Heizi's gaze was unabashed. The concert kicked off, and the fans erupted like a volcano while she sang and danced on stage. The atmosphere was electric with youth. Even Annie found herself moving to the rhythm as the concert progressed. Lead singer Heizi suddenly called her team, announced a new song, and energy soared. The song was called A Little Closer, and you might feel as youthful as a peeled banana. But maybe I'll want to rest that head on my shoulder. If I sense a slight chill, I desire to be a bit closer, just like two little peas in a pod. The lyrics sizzled, igniting fans below like a boiling hot pot. Amidst the deafening cheers, Heizi's gaze cut through the crowd, locking eyes with Annie, who instantly understood the hidden meaning. The boy's enthusiasm was open, but Annie wondered if it was true love or a flirt act. Fun times come and go in a flash. Although waves of emotions crashed in Anna's heart, she quickly returned to her reality. As an art dealer, she was content with her job, which comfortably supported her and her daughter, Sayoi. She had no plans to change that, but like water flows without intent, Heizi's persistence left Annie astounded. Heizi pushed open the door to Anna's shop again, explaining that her apartment needed renovations, so she came to check things out. Annie introduced her to the art pieces, but Heizi, with a nonchalant air, waved a hand as if to buy the whole gallery. Clearly, Heizi was seeking the deeper meaning of art, which irked Annie. She felt Heizi treated her place like a bargain bin. Perhaps a younger girl might be mesmerized by the opulence. In Anna's eyes, it was a dismissal of her beloved art. However, Heizi seemed oblivious to Anna's annoyance and was still keen to check out more art. Afraid of rejection, Heizi boldly hopped into Anna's car, and off they went to a warehouse. In a secluded warehouse, the couple stayed together. Feeling warm, Annie quietly took off her jacket. The move made Heizi's heart skip. Annie moved among artworks, silently conversing with each. However, Heizi's gaze remained glued to Annie like a loyal puppy. To break the awkward tension, Annie pointed to an oil painting and warmly said it was her favorite piece. As their conversation deepened, the distance began to shrink. They went from chit-chatting about mundane matters to dreams, and then to life's little details. They talked about friends, life, and even revealed their desires and regrets from the depths of their hearts, drawing them closer together. Heizi was openly interested in Annie, making her burst out in laughter. They initially planned to hit a restaurant after leaving the warehouse, but then Heizi's fans suddenly showed up, changing their plans. In a stroke of fate, Annie invited her over to her place. The room was filled with hints of her life, each item telling stories of time and her heart. They even cooked sandwiches together. Afternoon sunlight filtered through curtains, softly bathing them in an intimate, warm scene. As Heizi's gaze landed on the pictures on the wall, she curiously asked about Anna's past. Annie fell silent for a moment, her eyes betraying an undeniable sadness. She had met her ex-husband at work, fell in love quickly, and they shared a sweet life together. However, the man she had poured her heart into betrayed her, getting tangled up with someone else. In the face of all this, Annie chose not to scream and shout, but to forgive. She thought that might save their love and family. Yet reality offered her no chances. Her forgiveness went unreciprocated. Instead, she faced her husband's complete departure, while what she thought was eternal love faded into the ether with time. Heizi listened quietly. The calm, strong woman had tears in her eyes, showing her vulnerability. She was like a flower swaying in the wind, bearing endless storms, yet refusing to bow down. Heizi's heart quivered at the sight. She understood the weight of that pain and told Annie not everyone was like her ex. Their hearts were gradually leaning toward one another. At least in that moment, their eyes only held to each other. But then a phone call broke the romantic tension. When Annie returned from the call, Heizi was already at the piano, playing a lovely tune that stirred the deep emotions within Anna's heart. Annie instinctively moved closer. Heizi gently grasped her hand. Her heart nearly stopped. Subtitles. It seemed as though her world consisted solely of her and her, with all pain and struggle vanishing with that single kiss. Just as Kezzy wanted to take it further, Annie abruptly halted her, darting away like a startled deer, having been hurt before. She didn't want to get trapped in emotional quicksand again. Kezzy's gaze dimmed, but she didn't push. She simply looked at Annie silently, then discreetly placed her watch on the counter. Polite farewells exchanged. She left Anna's house, and Annie watched her go, feeling both relieved and a little blue. Just then, familiar footsteps sounded at the door of her daughter home from school. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.